Welcome, everyone.
Hi, hi. Hello, everybody.
Jennifer, why don't we go ahead and introduce ourselves? Um,
Okay,
you want to
cool.
start? This is
I
this
can
is
get
my
started.
colleague
Yeah.
Jennifer.
So, hi, everybody. I am Jennifer Jones. I am a Birth to Five facilitator with the Rollins Language and Literacy Center by way of Atlanta Speech School. Um, I am actually born and raised in Louisiana, and I am currently staying in Sandy Springs. So, I am glad to be here with everybody, and I'm excited to take on this cohort with everyone. And I'm excited. So thanks for joining us. And I'll pass it to Nathan.
All right. Thank you, Jennifer. I am also a Birth Through Five facilitator with Rollins and Cox Campus, and Jennifer and I do the same job. We work together. I am from the Atlanta area. I live in Peachtree City, Georgia, and I work around Atlanta with different schools. As a facilitator, we work with Birth Through Five programs with leaders and coaches to implement the ecosystem. So we're excited to share our work today and get into this work. What else? I have four kids. Love riding my bike. I could go on and on. But what I really love is um, working for the Rollins Center with an equity approach to language and literacy. We believe that language and literacy is the path to justice, is the path to freedom. And so we really we consider ourselves activists here at Rollins. I mean, we are really here to help children's outcomes so that they have the freedom to read and to think and to think about what they're reading. So we're excited that you all are here. I noticed in the chat that someone can't hear anything. I want to just confirm that it's not something on our end. Let us know if you can hear us. I see
I
more
can
people entering the
maybe
room.
try logging out and logging back in.
Yeah, let's see.
Thanks for
I'll put
confirming,
that.
guys, that y'all can hear. Thanks. We appreciate that.
All right, thank you. All right, we're gonna get moving right along with this ecosystem cohort. This is the ecosystem approach, and this is a learning cohort. So this is our first meeting of this for 2024. We are excited to introduce what this cohort is about, what we're going to be doing here. So we hope that you all will continue to join us each month as we have this cohort. And you can log in just like you did each month on Cox Campus under events. And this is designed for leaders and mentor coaches. So if you are a teacher in a classroom and you don't work directly coaching or mentoring or working with teachers, we are so happy to have you. We're excited that you're here today. In order to implement this cohort and this system, we would need you to bring a leader or a mentor for the following months. Just bring someone who can support your site in this area. But regardless of your role today, there's a lot to learn, and we want to really just make sure that we're clear on what this is and what we're going to be doing. So we're really excited to have everybody today. All right,
Yes,
Jennifer, you ready?
I'm ready. Let's do it.
Let's move along to the next slide. All right, our first slide is a pre-test. Now, if you have taken this course, the ecosystem approach, then this is more of a post-test. But if you haven't, it's a pre-test. And we just called it a pre-test since it's the beginning of this cohort. So it's kind of a pre-test to the cohort. And if you want to take your phones, turn on your camera, hold it up, and it will show with that QR code. You can click on that link. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the link and I'm going to stop sharing and I'm going to share that that window so we can all see what we're working on here. So if you're in there and you're ready to play, ready to do this, it's more like a game, but and I just in case you're not able to get into that link, you can go to vvox.app and put in this ID number that's on the screen. It's 156-674-694. And if that doesn't work, don't worry. Just put in the chat A, B, or C. We'll call it A, B, and C here. So let me, Jennifer, do you mind reading those? I've got something blocking it for me.
Absolutely, Nathan. I don't mind. So let's get started. The first one says, make eye contact, stay in close proximity and at child's level, and use gentle touch in consistent and encouraging ways. Would you say it's planning and teaching around an anchor book, safe and responsive climate, or observation and monitoring of children's progress?
We got 10 seconds here.
Yep, I see a couple B's, a couple C's.
All right. Okay. What was the right answer, Jennifer?
The correct answer was B, safe and responsive climate.
Oh, yay, 82% there.
Woohoo!
All right. I'm going to go on to the next one. I'm just trying to navigate some of this Zoom stuff that's here, so give me just a second. I'll go on to number 2, and that should open in that box on your phone. So I'm going to, and actually, give me 1 second. I'm going to share with sound here because it did play a little sound, and I realized I wasn't sharing sound. So, all right, Jennifer, you want to take it away?
Yeah, so let's go with number 2. It says plans regular activities throughout the year to provide learning opportunities for families about their children's language and literacy development. So is it A, integrated planning and teaching around an anchor book, B, supports for dual language learners, or C, strong partnerships with families? All right, so if you guessed C, strong partnerships with families, you got it right.
All right. All right, we're going to move on to 3.
All right, number 3, photographs and posters reflecting children's cultures, families, and languages are visible. Is it A, strong partnerships with families, B, culturally responsive and preserving environment, or C, focus on emergent literacy?
I don't know about you, Jennifer, but that music's got me dancing over here.
It does, Nathan. I'm dancing. I'm dancing. So it's B, guys. It's culturally responsive and preserving environment.
All right.
You guys are doing good.
4, and I don't know. I think if I play the music that we can hear you over the music. So I might start the music as you're reading the answers there.
Okay. Invest in classroom resources, materials, toys, books, etc. in children's first languages. Is it A, supports for dual language learners, B, observation and monitoring of children's progress, or C, consistent routines, rituals, and transitions? All right, so if you answered A, supports for dual language learners, you got it right.
All right, number 5.
Prepare materials in advance to minimize the time children spend sitting and waiting. A, culturally responsive and preserving environment. B, children as conversational partners. Or C, consistent routines, rituals, and transitions. All right, C, awesome.
Woo, 100%.
Yes, you guys are awesome. Consistent routines, rituals, and transitions.
Making sure we don't have all that waiting and sitting time. I know I don't like to wait and sit around.
Me either.
All right, let me go to number 6.
All right, number 6, engage with children in frequent back and forth exchanges. A, children as conversational partners. B, integrated planning and teaching around an anchor book. C, focus on emergent literacy. It's A, guys, children as conversational partners.
You know what? I think this one too. I mean, it does mainly focus on A, but it's surely important for everything we're doing. It applies to everything. So I give everybody credit for that one. All right.
All right, next one is observe children regularly across a variety of activities in different parts of the day using developmentally appropriate tools. A, observation and monitoring of children's progress. B, consistent routines, rituals, and transitions. Or C, culturally responsive and preserving environment. That's it. A, observation and monitoring of children's progress.
Very important. All
And
right.
very, very important, especially for this cohort, guys.
That's right. Okay.
Talk about and model how letters are formed. Is it A, integrated planning and teaching around an anchor book, focus on emergent literacy, supports for dual language learners? It's B, focus on emergent literacy.
Very important. All right. The last one, number 9 of the 9 elements.
We got some smart people on here, Nathan.
Yes.
Thoughtfully select a few focus words related to the book, reinforced throughout planned activities and informal opportunities. Is it A, integrated planning and teaching around an anchor book, children as conversational partners, or partnerships with families? Y'all got it. Integrated planning and teaching around an anchor book.
All right. Well,
Congrats.
thank you all for your participation with that.
Round of applause.
Yeah. All right. We're super excited today to have everyone here. And I see some more people have been popping in. So welcome as you come in. Thank you for joining us for this cohort. We just had a little pre-test. Jennifer, you ready to move along?
I'm ready, Nathan. Let's do it.
All right. Let's see what's next. All right. So I want to explain what our objectives are to here today. So first of all, we want to define the ecosystem and the ecosystem approach. Again, if you've taken this course, you're familiar with this. If you've had any work with anything we do, especially in the birth through 5 realm on Cox campus, you've heard that term. So we're going to talk a little bit about it. We're going to talk about why we're here. What is the purpose of this cohort? So we have this thing called the 5 whys. And I'll explain a little bit about how that works. We're going to describe the essential elements of our ecosystem, those ecosystem elements. We call it the ECM 2.0. There was a 1.0, but the 2.0 is the best one out there. And so we're going to go with that, and we're going to use those 9 elements that are essential. We're going to talk about that. And then we're going to self-reflect and determine our next step. So thank you all for joining us, and we'll move right along with this. We always have what we call norms for our meetings at Rollins. We have them internally. We have them when we have meetings like this. And we just want to set some norms for something like this. And it's really going to apply as we move along each month for this cohort. And we're more engaged and having some peer support to keep these things in mind. But we do want to set that tone from the beginning. All right. So first one is be open-minded and flexible to change. However that looks for you. Bring some open-mindedness to this. Step up and step back. This is one of my favorites because it's an opportunity to remember that we can step up and ask questions and share and be involved, but also to remember to step back when needed and give other people that opportunity. Be present. We'd love to see you on here. Understand some people might be driving or have different things going on, but if possible, open up your screen, let us see you. If you need to unmute, if you need to just write in the chat, whatever's your best way of being present here and what you're able to do. We ask that you respect the opinions and communication styles of everyone, and we will also do the same. And as a group, we want to listen to understand, listen to each other, listen, take that time, pause if we need to. And that's the last one. Commit to pause and reflect throughout. So throughout this whole process, whether we're on Zoom or we're working at our sites, wherever we're working, to make sure we pause and reflect. All right. Going to go to the next one. All right. So this is our ecosystem. And most of you may know this in terms of education, but I want to ask the question, Jennifer, when you think of an ecosystem, just in general terms, what comes to mind for you?
Ecosystem. So what comes to my mind is something that's like maybe structurally organized, maybe something like systems, maybe something like that.
Yeah, so like a system that's in place. Um, I think for me, when I think of an ecosystem, I actually think of a fish for some reason. I don't know why, but I think of a fish immediately. And I think of a fish in the ocean and what's their ecosystem, or even like a fish in a tank.
Yeah,
What's going on around them? What's their water? And there might be coral, there might be it depends. I live close to some lakes out here, so there's definitely not coral, but there's some seaweed in there, some different plants and animals and crayfish, that kind of thing.
I'm seeing the comments. People are saying science, life cycle. Somebody said umbrella,
Oh,
just different
umbrella.
things.
I like that. I like the umbrella. Well, this is
Yeah,
a picture of my mind. This is where my mind goes. You see that fish right in the middle?
yeah.
It's swimming there, having a good time. And so parts of that ecosystem are the turtles and the lily pads and the bugs and the deer. Um, so yeah. Anybody else? I see habitat, science.
Hmm.
Yeah. All right.
Good
Well, when we
guesses,
think
y'all.
of, let me make sure that I'm still, I might not, yeah, I'm sharing sound, I believe. I'm going to test it. So let me know, Jennifer, if the sound is playing, and
Okay.
I'll play it and then pause it. But this is a short video. It is in the beginning of the course. So if you haven't taken the course, this is your first time hearing this. If you've already taken it, I love hearing this. I love it so much. In fact, it's my voice. So that's one reason I like listening to it. But no, really and truly, I think this really embodies what we mean when we say an ecosystem for a child. And this is me explaining Michael's ecosystem. So let me push play. Can you hear that?
Got it. Yeah.
All right. Michael does not live in a vacuum.
With all those bubbles.
His whoops. Development is shaped by the environment in which he lives and the people in it, starting with his home and his mom, Kyla, and expanding to his community and society. Michael's life is impacted by the adults I am so sorry. And peers he encounters each day, like his toddler teacher, Evasia, and his friends at school and in his neighborhood. His life is influenced by whether his mom is healthy or sick, or whether she is happy or stressed, and by many other economic and health conditions that may affect them. His family's cultural values and norms, and political and social issues of his community also play a part. All of these come together to create a complex web connecting child, family, and environment. Together, they make up a child's ecosystem. The learning environments children experience in the first 5 years of life are a critical part of this ecosystem. Through loving, nurturing interactions with the adults who teach and care for them, children learn to communicate, express emotions, and develop social skills. They are encouraged to become explorers, observers, and problem solvers. These powerful relationships catalyze learning, promote competence, well-being, and emotional connections, and even shape a child's brain architecture. A relationships-based, language-centered ecosystem supports the development of young children's language and literacy and all learning, and establishes a solid foundation for reading. Through literacy, every child can achieve all they are capable of. All of us play a role in constructing this supportive ecosystem for children. Families, site directors, teachers, instructional coaches, other professionals, policymakers, all working together. We need all hands on deck to achieve radical, equitable outcomes for children. Together, we can change the present, transform our communities, and build a better world for Michael and all children. All right. So, Jennifer, are you part of a child or children's ecosystem?
I sure am. I sure am. And all of you are that are sitting on this cohort today, you are also a part of all the children's and families ecosystems at your programs.
So that's exactly what it says here. And children's development is influenced by all those multiple systems in which they exist. So children have an ecosystem. What we want to know is that ecosystem optimal? Is it the best that it can be? And you all, children, the child care or school or caregivers, teachers, peers, all those things that exist in a school, and all those people are part of it, part of that environment. So thank you all for being that, for being a part of building those brains and having relationships with children that you work with. So now I'm going to move on to the next slide here. Okay, so this is called the 5 whys. And the purpose of this is to kind of really deeper look at why we're here. So we want to make sure everybody is clear on that and understands, and think about why you came here today to this meeting. And we're actually going to ask you about that a little bit too. So be thinking about it. All right. So we want you to know why we're here, why we're doing this. As facilitators at the Rollins Center and Cox campus, Jennifer and I are happy to be involved with this. And so I want to ask the first question, like, Jennifer, when we're thinking about this cohort, what is the purpose of us coming together in this setting?
Good question. So it provides a safe space for us like-minded educators and individuals to come together, to grow and learn together, deepen our understanding of all 9 essential elements that are used for all children. So this is a space with no judgment, no negativity. It's just a relaxed, positive, just productive environment for you to come here and learn and grow together.
Okay, so why is this support even necessary?
This support is necessary because people need to know that they aren't doing this work by themselves. This work it's critical for the effectiveness of child's outcomes with language and literacy. And this support is going to offer you the best practices and the tools that you need so that you can be successful in the work that you do.
Ooh, I love it. Tools that I need. That sounds really exciting. I definitely need some tools. I can always use new tools in my tool belt. So my next question for you is, of course, it's why, but I've taken the course. So why? What's so beneficial about further support here if I've already taken this course?
Good question. So taking the course is it's a great way to obtain new knowledge, and it's beneficial to know how to apply that knowledge. So you want to know, what can I do with this information? How is this going to help, build the children and the families that I'm supporting? So it's going to help you facilitate your observations better. It's going to support the discussions and reflections that you'll have with your team, and it'll also help you identify those key areas of growth within your organization.
Okay, this sounds really important, but again, I'm going to ask you, why is this important for children?
It's okay. Keep asking. I'm here for it. So it's important because our children, they need to have this ecosystem wrapped around them. That's how that positive influence on their language and literacy development is going to really impact them. So they need that environment to foster and cultivate their learning. They thrive best when they have people that are, in their learning environment that meet them where they are and also bring them to places unimaginable.
Okay, unimaginable. That's amazing. But just one more time, but why?
Why? Strong relationships with these adults in their lives are essential for fully establishing everything that children need to thrive. That's why.
Wow, thank you, Jennifer. I'm going to sum up what you've just said to me. So, the purpose of us being here today is so that we provide support for implementation of the ecosystem approach at a larger scale so that all children have an opportunity to be a part of an effective ecosystem that is established in all 9 essential elements. to build community among a diverse group of individuals working towards positive relationships and progress in child outcomes in language and literacy development. Does that sound like a good summary?
It sure does. Wraps
Okay.
everything up.
All right. So now we're going to ask Jennifer, do you have a question for our guests here today?
I do. Did you hear your why? Think about it. Remember when Nathan asked you to kind of start thinking about it? Now, this is your chance to really hone in on that why. And feel free to tell us. Unmute, put it in the chat, write it down. Let us know if you heard your why. And if not, share your why, your own personal why.
I would like to share.
Okay.
One of my whys is I have a grandson that's now 5th grade, should be in 6th grade. During COVID, he was homeschooled with us, and I found some learning difficulties that he was having. In that, he couldn't read. And so I took action. I got an IEP. So that's just a little bit in the nutshell. So my why is to find different learning styles for myself to be able to assist him in moving forward with education. I heard 5 whys, and everything hit home out of those 5 whys. And then the wrap-up statement really hit home. So I'm looking for new tools, new ways to be able for me to also learn that new system for him to learn, a new way to learn. And you hit a lot of key points in those explanations. So still a long ways to go, but at least listening to this segment makes me want to work even harder.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Miss Sonia, for sharing. So we appreciate that. And I'm glad that you are, identifying some needs for your grandson, because that's where it starts. Just, identifying and making sure that you're aware, and then also taking the next step in finding tools and resources that'll be successful for him. So I'm glad you're here, and I hope that you are able to take away as much information as possible and be able to, broaden his learning experiences and hopefully help others, you be an advocate for other children besides your grandson. Thanks.
Thank you, Jennifer. I'm seeing some great things in the chat here.
Me too.
Child outcomes and language and literacy. I see a lot about outcomes, meaningful work, just having a better place for children to learn. That's great. Making sure parents are in it together. That's a big part of what we do. Yes. Someone mentioned new teachers in the field, giving them tools. Like I said, I love tools. I always love adding tools to my tool belt. Lots of wonderful things here. Strong relationships. That's big. So it looks like our whys are kind of lining up here. So that's great to see.
Yep. I think they're all in the right place, Nathan. Everybody's in the right place.
All right. Thank you all. All right. All right. So just want to introduce you, since we talked about the ecosystem, we talked a little bit about the 9 essential elements. We mentioned it. These are the 9 elements: safe and responsive climate, culturally responsive and preserving environment, consistent routines, rituals, and transitions. All those things we saw in that pre-test. And if you've taken the course, you've heard these things. Those first 3 are in the first, what we call the climate cluster. Okay. And the second cluster is the content cluster, where we have children as conversational partners, and anchor book, teaching around an anchor book, focusing on emergent literacy. And then for the third connection cluster, we have that observation, that progress monitoring that's so important, dual language learner supports, and then partnerships that are strong between ourselves and the families, which is really, really important. So those are the 9 essential elements, and we're going to be focusing. That's our main core of what we're focusing on as we observe classrooms and try to set goals. All right. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show this document. So give me a second to get this link. I'm going to click the link and then I'll have to reshare. But this is called the Closer Look document. You can find it on Cox Campus, and it is something that we're going to definitely need. The link is in the chat. We're using this document to guide everything we do in this cohort. It's pretty much a guide for this document. There's going to be more peer support, facilitation, things like that involved, but this document is the key to what we're doing. So I'm about to bring it up and show you. And here we go. All right. So this document breaks down in detail these essential elements. And it starts with that page, kind of like what I showed you with the little fan and the 9 elements, breaks them into those clusters. Then there's a little description here, and we're starting right away with that first element, which is guidance around safe and responsive climate. So this is like your study guide. I would call this your study guide. This is so important for creating that environment for the children. And we're going to break this down into clusters as we go through this. We're going to really go, we're not going to do it all at once. We're going to take it slow for each month. We're going to do a cluster. So what I was thinking about is this part. So I see these links here. I see that there are QR codes. You don't need to look at those right now, but like I said, it's on Cox Campus. If you just go to the search engine and put in a closer look, but also the link is in the chat. So I have a question, Jennifer. These videos here, in what way are they useful as you're working with teachers, assessing a classroom? How do you use these videos? How can they be helpful?
Okay, well, these videos are helpful because you can actually get like a snippet of what these practices look like in action. So you can see an actual infant or toddler or preschool or pre-K teacher actually doing some of these best practices, showing you what her classroom environment looks like. So you can, not only read the descriptions, but now you can click on one of the QR codes or the links to actually see it in action. So it's very helpful for those that are visual learners and would really like to see what that looks like so that they have an idea of what to look for when they are assessing their classrooms.
Excellent. So I see here there's arrival for infants, meal time for infants. We have story time with young toddlers. These are all opportunities to take a look at what a safe and responsive climate could look like. And is this available for each of these elements?
It is. So you'll have a section for each of the 9 elements. So if you scroll throughout this document here, you'll see videos for all age groups and different times and, routines and rituals throughout the day, morning meeting, closing circle, just different times for you to see what, is best practices at this time throughout the day. So you'll have an idea and you can, click on it, and the videos are really, really short and they're really practical and realistic.
Excellent. All right. So I'm going to scroll down a little bit, and I noticed down here it has courses aligned with it, resources related to this one, the safe and responsive climate. And then I see these reflection questions. And what I'm wondering, Jennifer, is for you, what ways have you found these reflection questions helpful when you're observing and coaching with teachers?
That's a good question. So I really enjoy having these reflective questions available to me because it makes the coaching conversations for me, much better. They make them more clear cut, more productive, and my conversations are more meaningful. So I don't have to, guess about what I should ask. These questions are already prepared for me. So I can just pick and choose which ones will, suit the conversation. So I love having them there, and you'll love them too.
That's great. Does anyone have any thoughts or questions concerning this document before we move on? You can put in the chat or you can unmute.
Hey, you guys.
Hi.
So question, this document will be located in the link that you sent previous, right?
Yes, there's a link within this chat box here, and it was sent out. It says a closer look at the essential elements. And I'm going to just like repost that. So I posted it again there. And then another way to get to it, in case you lose that link or anything, if you go to Cox Campus, if you have an account, if you don't, you can start an account for free. But you go to Cox Campus, and I always just go to the fastest way is to go to that search engine at the top and put in a closer look, and then it'll bring up the document, and then you can click on that and download it.
Lay down. Go and come back and lay down.
All right. All right, let's see. Someone said they like that it includes infants, toddlers, and preschool resources all in one document. Yeah, that is really helpful. Thank you for mentioning that. Yes, it does have it for each element. It has the different age groups. All right, I'm gonna reshare my slideshow here. Whoops. Let me make sure I'm sharing sound in case I need it. And let's see. Okay. Oh, here we go. We're gonna start from, let me catch up with my slides. Okay, so this document that is showing on the screen is called the ECM 2.0. We mentioned it earlier. This is the actual tool with all the information that you need to do your assessments, to set goals. We're also going to be using this one just as much as we're using the other one. The other one is, this is an implementation guide, but the other one is more of just a guide to help you see closer into each of the elements. This is the more official, like this is what you're going to have your assessments on, your goals. So you're definitely going to need this one. This one also will be in the chat, and you can find it on Cox Campus if you put in Ecosystem Construction Measure 2.0, but the link is right there in the chat for you. So again, it's mentioned in the course. It is the actual document that we're going to be using to guide us. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this link to pull up that document so I can show you a little bit of it. Stop sharing here. Let me make sure it's pulling up. Okay. And then I'm going to share here. Okay. All right. So there's the document. We are definitely not going to go through all of it today. I just want to kind of skim over it. There's a table of contents, which shows you where everything is and what page they're on. You can even print this out and put it in a binder. It's like a book. So that's one way to kind of organize it, or you can just keep it in a file because you can download it. Gives you the background, the purpose, those 9 elements again. It talks about each cluster, and then really gives you conditions that would be most important for an optimal ecosystem construction, and how different people in the ecosystem work together. So what does it look like for teachers, for directors, for coaches, for leaders, individuals involved? And then we get to the clusters. So this is element 1, a safe and responsive climate. I see here that we've got related campuses, Cox Campus courses that are on Cox Campus. So those courses align with the safe and responsive climate. We have a description of here of what that is, the sources of evidence, and the look-fors and exemplars, things that we're looking for, all mentioned at the top. But I also notice here that there's some numbers here. Okay, so there's a section right here at the top in this teal color with a 1, a 1.5, a 2, a 2.5, and a 3. So Jennifer, can you help me here? What do these numbers actually represent?
Okay, so these numbers actually correlate with the ratings that you're going to assign to your classrooms. So when you are assessing your classrooms, you're going to rate each of those classrooms with one of those numbers there. So 1 being emerging, 1.5 is a midpoint. So you may or may not have some criteria from the developing section, but it's not quite, fully developing. So you want to give it a midpoint score of a 1.5, or you have a 2 where it's developing and you have some criteria. And then you have the 2.5 midpoint where you have some criteria that's in the 3 column, but not quite all of it. So it's still considered a 2.5. And if you are a 3, then you're fully established, meaning that your classroom meets all of the criteria listed under that category.
Okay, so it looks like the goal here is to reach a 3 to get established. That's what we'd like to see in our classrooms,
Yes,
these
ultimately, you
environments.
want all your classrooms to be a 3, but that does take some work. And so that's why we're here. We're here to help you to, identify what areas, what classrooms are rated as, and how close can we get to that 3 for all of your classrooms.
Okay, so I'm looking at this. I would take this with me. I'd have this with me in a classroom. I'm looking like, okay, if there's minimal evidence, I've got a 1. I think I can figure this out, but what do I do? Do I jot it on here? Do I check it off? How do I rate this?
I'm glad you asked. So in this same document here, you're going to scroll down and you're going to
Okay.
have access to some forms that you can actually input your notes on, and also assign those 1, 2, 3, 1.5, or 2.5. Yep.
Oh, I see. Okay. So I can assign a rating,
Yep.
put current state of affairs.
That's
and
where
then
you're
I
going to put your
see.
notes. Yep. And then in that last column where you want to go, that's your goal. So if you want it to be a 3, then shoot for the stars and put things that you want to work on specifically so that you can obtain that 3.
Okay. And then I see here there's another way of, this is
Yes,
another
this is
option, it says.
another option. Yep.
Okay. So there are different options in here, different ways of taking those notes down so you can rate them. Great. This is really helpful tool. All right. So let me think about this. So if my classrooms are like represented in a 1 or a 2 or even a 1.5 or 2.5, like how can I use this once I have all the information? I have all this notes put in here, I have it rated. How can I use it to set goals?
So you're actually going to take a moment to review those notes, go back, and that section that you had the conditions, you're going to kind of, look at those things and consider some things there. And you can pull some information from there to kind of set those goals. But the way you're going to set those goals is by creating a joint action plan. So if you scroll a little bit further down, you're going to see one of the pages that says where you can take action by completing a joint action plan.
Oh, great. So it says here, the coach and site director or any other designated individual work together to identify goals, develop an action plan that will provide focus to their energy and actions. That's great. So it sounds like there's like a partnership, an agreement that happens here that they're really making this agreement between a teacher and a coach or a leader. So
Yep.
what can I expect from these sessions that we're having this cohort when using this goal setting? How does that look for us here in this setting?
So we're going to actually walk you step by step. We're going to walk you through each part of this. So we're going to sit with you. We're going to have open discussions. We may even branch off into breakout rooms, and you're going to work on setting and creating those goals with your team or with some fellow teammates in this cohort. So you're going to do this with us. So we're going to support you in doing every step of this joint action plan. So you won't be able to, walk away without any support or any knowledge on how to do that. So don't let this scare you. We're here with you.
Excellent. And someone says they like the support. This is designed, I see a question, what are the ages grades that we're representing here? This is designed for ages birth through age 5 through pre-K. So we're focusing on those. And this cohort, as a reminder, is designed for leaders, coaches, mentor teachers. So if you're a teacher in a classroom and you don't work directly with supporting other teachers, please invite them to come to this cohort. We definitely need some leaders involved in this. Does anyone have any other questions, comments? You can unmute. I want to make sure that we have the space here about this ECM. It's a very large document. Like I said, we're not going to go in detail, but any questions about it before we move on about the ECM? Which, by the way, stands for Ecosystem Construction Measure. Will the online seminar be this day each month? The dates are on Cox Campus under events, and I will mention the next date at the end of the presentation. So we'll get that to you. Thank you for asking.
Yes, and if you are asking for a specific day of the week, they all fall on a Thursday.
That's right.
Thank you.
Mhm.
You can print out all the resources that are available on Cox Campus. So everything that we have on this slide and all this information is actually on Cox Campus. And thank you. We have each session should be on a Thursday, 1 to 2. That's right. Any other questions here about this document, the ECM, or the course itself? That's another thing. If moving forward in this group, we definitely would like for you to complete the course if you haven't yet. On the ecosystem. All right, I'm going to go back to the slideshow. Let me pull that back up. I don't know why it's resetting every time I do it, so give me a second to find that slide. Let's see. Okay, back on track. All right, so this is an opportunity I mentioned before in our norms that we're going to pause and reflect. And so this is an opportunity to do that. You can ask any questions. You can unmute. Just taking a moment here for this space about everything we've gone over. The ecosystem, why we're here, the closer look document, anything that we've talked about. I see in the chat. Oh, go ahead, Jennifer.
I was going to say it's going to be helpful to print that ECM 2.0 document and have it for each session. So it'll be something that you want to bring with you so that you can fill in and make adjustments, make edits, So it's good to have that document with you. We're going to walk you through how to complete the document. So if you just bring a blank copy with you, that'll be a good start. We're going to walk you through everything.
Yes, everything's going to be walked through. Go ahead. Sorry.
Hi, I'm so sorry to interrupt. This is Sharice Trailer, and I did hear you. Hi there. I'm very excited about this, and I unfortunately didn't see this until this morning, and I do have staff that I'd love to invite. I just want to reiterate and will confirm that it's okay for my teacher leaders to join maybe the next session, and they would be able to complete the full program.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Thank you for asking. And I did notice in the chat as well about an example. I don't know if you, Bertha Gilbert asked if we could give an example. Most of the examples of how to assess this and how to do it is what we're going to walk through in the cohort. So we didn't have space for that today, but we will be doing, that's really actually a lot of what we're going to be doing. We'll watch some of those videos. We'll take a chance for, before you start assessing, we're going to go through what that looks like. And then, so we'll take it by cluster. So the next session in February is going to be about cluster 1. We're going to do those 3 elements, go through them, talk about them, give you a chance to ask any questions. and make sure that you're prepared to go out and observe on those 3. So instead of doing all 9 at once, this is a walkthrough for each cluster. And then we'll come back together and see what you found, what kind of goals you can set, and move on to the next cluster. So that's kind of the format here.
Mhm.
Am I missing anything, Jennifer?
Nope, sounds good. Someone asked about a link to the course. So we will send that in the follow-up email. But if you want to go on Cox Campus, you can click on courses under Cox Campus, and it'll be the ecosystem approach course.
All right. And I think we can get a recording of this. I'll look into that. We did record this. So if you want to reach out, I'm actually just going to go ahead and put my email in here.
Hey, Nathan, I just want to go ahead and interject. The recording will be sent via email.
Okay.
Just give us 1 to 2 days just to process everything. And so the link will be included in the course link. You'll have everything that we discussed today and next steps.
Thank you so much, Shantae. And
No problem.
I just want to thank you for being here today, Shantae. That's our other colleague, and she's been on the back end of this, doing the chats and helping us out. So thank you, Shantae.
Yeah, thanks, Shantae.
All right. I'm going to go to the next slide. All right. So here's a recap. What's an ecosystem? We talked about that. Why do you want to be a part of this ecosystem cohort? We went over our 5 whys and we heard some of your whys. Sounds like we're all on the same page. We went over the elements and we went to the ECM 2.0. So with the elements, we use that all about form, a closer look form, and then the 2.0. So that's just a recap of everything that was covered today. Again, not only will you get the recording, as Shantae mentioned, but these documents are all on Cox Campus. So all the information is there. Again, we're just here to provide this peer support space and to facilitate. And Jennifer and I have a lot of experience using this tool. So we hope to be able to offer some help in different areas. So we're looking forward to hear your stories about your children and your teachers and your sites, those ecosystems that are out there. So we're super excited. And if I could, let me get if you know how to raise your hand on here, who's going to be joining us again in February? Who's definitely excited about joining us? Just a raise of hands there to see. All right.
Yeah.
Yes, we're so excited.
Good.
Yay. All right.
And if there's any of your colleagues that are missing today and they would be, helpful to the conversation, please invite them. Let them know that they can register on Cox Campus.
And we realize there are different types of ecosystems. So big sites, small sites, big schools, small schools, maybe some at-home child development programs. So, if you have a teacher who's in the classroom, but they also are acting as a mentor teacher, that type of role is also important for this. So we just want to make sure we cover everything. Anyone who's working with teachers in a supportive and guiding role who can implement this at your different environments.
Yeah.
All right. So Jennifer, what are our next steps? What do we need to do next?
All right. So in our next steps, we would like for you all to complete that course or review it if you've already completed it. I did notice that someone said, I took it back in 2022, which is awesome. So that means you only need to review some of the parts of that course. Also, we want you to review the ECM 2.0 document, the one that we showed in today's recording. So just review it. It's 47 pages, but take your time. You do have some time before we meet again in February. Also review that closer look document too. And so just get familiar with what the elements are, what does it look like, and take a quick little moment to kind of, scan through those videos as well. Check your email because we will be sending a follow-up email from today's session. And also, we would love to have you back on February 8th, and definitely share the word, pass the word to all your education leaders and your administrative teams.
Yay. Thank you, Jennifer. We look forward to seeing everyone in the next session.
Yep.
I'd like to end this with one word for 2024. Everybody give me your one word. I'm not doing resolutions or anything right here. Just one word in the chat that's your word, your affirmation. I see grace, optimistic, joy. Oh, these are great words. Progress. What do you see, Jennifer?
Happiness, successful, intentional, peace, determination, leadership.
Ooh, I'd love to hear your
improvement.
voices too. If you want to unmute,
Ooh,
just say what
faith.
you need to say.
Consistency, intention, focus, intentionality, health, excellence.
Wow,
Good.
I've got a word. My word is balance, Jennifer. I'm looking for balance in my
That's a
life,
real
and
good one,
also,
Nathan.
giving others space for balance. That's a
Mine
word
is
that
going to
keeps coming.
be, my word's impact.
I love that.
Yeah, 2024. It's a big year for all of us. Wealth, trust, love, drive.
Nice. Peace. Yes, I
Resilience.
wish peace to everyone. Well, thank you all. Thank you so much. It's great to see everybody. I see some familiar faces in here.
Yes, can't wait to see y'all again next month.